Guardrail is a safety barrier intended to shield motorists from hazards along the roadway. Hazards such as steep embankments, utility poles, and bridge piers. Whenever possible, these hazards should be located outside of the clear zone to eliminate the need for guardrail. This overhead sign support is located 40 feet from the edge of travel lane. This is outside of the clear zone, therefore guardrail is not needed at this location. However, due to right-of-way constraints, it isn't always possible to locate hazards a safe distance from the roadway. Guardrail performance is determined through crash testing in a controlled environment. In this test, the end terminal absorbs the energy of the impact and the guardrail is extruded away from the vehicle. When installed correctly, guardrail can make our roads safer and lessen the severity of crashes. On projects with guardrail, the plans will contain a guardrail summary that lists the beginning and ending stations of the guardrail, the length of guardrail, the warrant points, and an end distance. This end distance is critical for proper guardrail installation. The NCDOT roadway standard drawings contain details for installation, and I will reference them throughout this video. The end distance is defined as the distance from the edge of the nearest travel lane to the face of the guardrail. The end distance for this roadway is 16 feet. In curb and gutter facilities, guardrails should preferably be placed 12 feet behind the curb rather than at the curb face. The 12-foot width provides adequate sight distance for intersecting streets and driveways and also allows for sidewalk installation. If 12 feet is not available, the guardrail should be placed as far away from the face of the curb as the shoulder width will allow. Now we'll look at some of the basics of guardrail installation. A standard guardrail post is 6 feet long with approximately 3 feet 7 inches below the ground and 2 feet 5 inches above ground. During inspection, make sure that the guardrail is installed at the proper height, 1 foot 11 inches to the center of the rail. In a curb section, this height is measured from the gutter line or the flow line to the center of rail. If no curb is installed, the guardrail height is measured from the ground level directly in front of the guardrail. Keep in mind that guardrail will deflect when struck by a vehicle, so the offset from the face of the guardrail to the face of the hazard must be verified. If the offset distance is 5 feet 6 inches or greater, then the standard post spacing is acceptable. However, in this example, the overhead sign support and the signal cabinet are less than 5 feet 6 inches from the face of the rail. Therefore, in order to stiffen the rail and reduce the amount of deflection of the rail, additional posts must be installed. Those additional posts must begin at least 25 feet in advance of the hazard. We also need to make sure that the rail is lapped correctly with respect to the direction of traffic. This is the correct order of installation with the rail lapped properly. However, this end shoe is not lapped correctly given the direction of traffic and must be corrected by the contractor. The guardrail provisions of the contract will list which guardrail anchor units should be installed. Also note that the contractor is required to submit an FHWA acceptance letter for each anchor unit, as well as certified working drawings from the manufacturer. This is especially important for impact attenuator units to make sure that they function properly. Now we will talk briefly about median cable guide rail. The roadway standard drawings require a minimum deflection area of 12 feet on each side of the guide rail, and the ditch slopes must be 6:1 or flatter. Please note that this is not an acceptable installation practice. Cable guide rail cannot be used to protect median hazards like this median bridge bent. Strong post W-beam guardrail must be installed to protect these hazards. If you have any questions or concerns about guardrail installation on your projects, please contact your roadway construction engineer.